All right, America, here we go again. I don't know if anybody else out there is as upset as I am about all the violence that's occurring in our country day to day. They're killing our children in schools. They're killing us at our workplaces. We're being murdered at nightclubs. We're being murdered in churches. We're being murdered and killed everywhere. And it's time for that to stop. And if you've had enough of it, like I've had enough of it, then let's do something about it. The first thing we have to do is change the way we think. It's not about being black or white. It's not about being Christian or Jew. It's not about being Democrat or Republican. It's about being an American, people who believe in freedom and justice and the idea that a person is entitled to certain ineligible rights, that we all have a right to live a life of quality with love and joy with our families. And if you want that type of life, if you want these things, then you got to do something for it. And I'm going to tell you what you do. See, the politicians want to fool you. They want you to believe that you can't do anything. They want you to believe that you're powerless. But that's not true. You have tremendous power. You only have to apply it. And I'm going to tell you how to do it. First, let's deal with an issue. I love issues. Here's an issue. Right now in America today, we're wasting our resources. They're taking 35-40% of every dollar that you make, putting it into taxes, and you don't see anything from those tax dollars because the things they're doing with your tax money, it's not good for the nation. First of all, we got 3 million Americans in jail. Take a second to think about that number. 3 million Americans in jail. It costs $290 billion a year to keep them there. That's a waste of our resources. That perpetuates poverty. That perpetuates violence. That makes a cycle continue where we continue to be afraid of each other. We continue to separate ourselves from one another. We continue to support programs that do nothing but steal from the morality of our nation. It doesn't make sense. It don't make sense to lock up people for nonviolent crimes. The Constitution guarantees against cruel and unusual punishment. What can be more cruel and unusual than locking a human being in a cage for years and years and years, especially for property crimes? It just doesn't make sense. But it does if you're a politician. It does if you're one of the 1%ers. It does if you're the one holding the contracts for the prisons. It does if you work for the judicial system. Then it makes sense because you make your living off of it. Human bondage has become a trade commodity on the New York Stock Exchange. America, we're better than that. We don't have to do that anymore. We need to free these 3 million people. We need to let them out of jail, put them in the programs that's committed to building these people up. Give them skills, give them jobs, give them training, give them hope, give them a chance to have a life so that we can have a life. We can't lock these people up because we lock ourselves out. We can't continue to do that, America. We're better than that. Don't be fooled by these politicians who want to separate us. Just listen to the news. Donald Trump's going to call Hillary Clinton a liar. Hillary Clinton's going to call Donald Trump a liar. So what are we left with here? 2 liars? I don't think so. I think Hillary Clinton is a good woman. That's my opinion. Any woman who's risen to the level that she's risen to in our country, who's contributed as much as she's contributed to our country, deserves the respect of our nation. And that's just the way I feel about it. Donald Trump, you can take him as he come. I don't know. That's up to you. But we as a people have to start dealing with issues. If you're tired of seeing your children come home afraid from being killed at school, if you're tired of subway massacres, if you're tired of terrorist attacks, then we have to do something to change these things. We have to sort these people out. We have to find out who they are. And the only way we're going to do that is to start trusting each other, to start believing in each other. We have to know who our neighbors are. We have to take pride in our homes. We have to take pride in our neighbor's home. Your children, my children, know better than the other. My kid ain't no better than your kid. Your child is no better than the next man's child. We got to treat these kids right. We got to raise them right. We got to become the country that God intended for America to be. Stop turning our backs on people who need us. We can't turn our backs on these people in the Middle East. They're being killed by the hundreds of thousands. In Africa, they're being murdered by the hundreds of thousands. We can't continue to let these things happen. We got to do something about it. And the only way that's going to happen is that we as a nation come together, put aside our petty differences, and start to work together toward a country that is pleasing to God on a planet that's beneficial to all mankind. You're going to hear more from me. That's all I'm going to give you for right now. I know you can't take but so much of looking at this face, but boom, there it is. Now you holler back at me. I'm Tony Landon, and that's my word.